So recently there's been like a big update. Well, personally, I don't consider it a big update. We had already heard that man, Nobuo Uematsu, we already heard that he had said he wasn't going to be working on full-fledged whole video game tracks with his music anymore, that he would like to just drop a song here, a song there, and a little bit of this and that on particular games. He is going to still be working with Square Enix, and the new Newz that I'm talking about, that a lot of people are making at a bigger brand of news than I think that it is. However, I still want to talk about it, is he recently came out with an interview with RPG Site talking about working on Final Fantasy VII Remake's third part. I mean, of course, we still have yet to hear the new orchestrated version, unless I missed something in my 200-hour venture of the One Wing Angel. Not having Final Fantasy 7, 10, or 8, or any of the PlayStation versions of Final Fantasy. As a matter of fact, I would have to say my memory of Nobu goes all the way from at least Final Fantasy 6. That's when I first remember hearing his particular brand of music. He's been around since 1986 during the Square and then the Squaresoft and now Square Enix days. So the dude do need a little bit of some retirement, chillax for a minute, work on what you want to work on. But it was an interesting take that he was talking about part 3 of Final Fantasy VII when we just got Final Fantasy Rebirth a couple of months ago. From word on the web and from the article that I was looking at, just to jump right into it, it doesn't look like we're going to see any new things or anything about Final Fantasy for another 4 years. Hopefully, I'm praying that it won't take that long, especially since they already have the blueprint and the world of Final Fantasy from Final Fantasy Rebirth already done. Kind of like how the world of Tears of the Kingdom was basically just an expansion upon the world of Final Fantasy Zelda, the world of Breath of the Wild. I was getting tongue twisted there with Final Fantasy and Breath of Fire. Capcom, do something with Breath of Fire. Like, just give the IP away or do something with it. It's sad that Breath of Fire is just sitting there and we haven't seen nothing since 6, which, should we count it? That was a cell phone game. So if we're not going to see anything till 2028, it got me to thinking, from what we've seen so far, and I'm going to lightly do some light spoilers. So, light spoilers. I'm not going to go into the full detail of any story points because I wouldn't want to do that to y'all. I was able to enjoy my 1 month, well, actually it was 32 days journey of Final Fantasy with dodging freaking spoilers like raindrops in a storm. And I managed to get through it, and I just shut everything down so I wouldn't want to be the one to spoil too much for y'all. However, in 2028 is when they're talking about that we'll probably get another one. But again, I don't think we'll probably see it that long since we already have the world established. And even if you look at the map of Final Fantasy Rebirth, the map of Gaia, you can see a lot of portions of the world that we were not able to access with the tiny Bronco or with the Chocobo. Some of the things that I'm predicting or thinking, other than the name, since to stay with this R-type things from the end events of the game, I'm thinking of something like, they'll either call it like a Revelance, or my favorite one, to be honest with you, is which I thought they would have done it with, but they already did Crisis. What was it? Crisis Core Union. That probably would have been the perfect name from all of the events and situations that we've seen within Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be something kind of like Revelations. That's my take for it. FF7R, since they're sticking with the R, which I still never liked the whole remake part of it, to be real with y'all. I thought they should have called that Midgar, and then the next one could have been Rebirth, because what we've seen from the opening scenes of Rebirth, from those of y'all who've seen it from the trailer and everything, so this is not no spoiler like that. Zack is back, and we all know what happens to Aerith, and the whole Rebirth portion of the game is kind of dealing with those particular elements. Let me just leave it at that. So what I'm believing or thinking that one of the top 3 names, I actually wrote it down, recommends, relevance, or revelation. Out of those 3, I actually think revelation will be the one. Not only does it sound like biblical, which, you know, I'm not preaching to y'all, trust and believe, you do you, but Sephiroth was a Hebrew name that meant, if I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me, because you know y'all will, Hebrew, which also was like many, which also played into the part with all of the clones, or the people, the numbered men in black cloaks, at least from the original one. We still haven't had too much detail, some details, but not a lot of story stuff. We still have a lot of stuff to uncover. Then we still have a lot of stuff to uncover because Tifa got a bigger role within the story, as well, into some portions that felt a little bit like they were dedicated for Aerith. And then Aerith, well, she was the star woman of the show, but again, I'm still a Tifa guy, but then again, this is where I feel that it's a huge possibility that it will be called Final Fantasy VII Revelations, because Revelations is the truth. And this is when we'll get a chance to see all of the things that happen. We still need to see Cloud cracked out in the Mako, from the Mako, the Mako, tomato, in the wheelchair with crick. We still need to see that. We still need to see Tifa go in and have more of a interpersonal relationship within themselves to find out with themselves. Also, I'm wondering if they actually gonna let them have sex on, excuse me, oh, this is YouTube. I can't say that no more. If they gonna let them hunch, like it was originally planned, in the 97 version. So that could also be a form of the revelation. And from what we've seen in in-game events, I still don't believe that it's the end, the way that it ended, and that it's other portions or parts of things that could fit, and we're not getting the full part of it. You see, I'm kind of sorry, y'all. I'm talking in code because, again, I don't want to go too deep when it comes to the story parts like that. I love the Rebirth, and so far for now, even though this is the year of RPGs, it's going to be my game of the year. It dropped in February, so it's going to be a lot of, it's going to have to be a hell of a game to be able to make me feel the emotions and make me feel the elements of how the world made me feel. This is how every open world should feel. The only other game that I can say that rivaled or had as good of quest as this game was Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, where each person you talk to, it meant something. And even with Xenoblade, there were so many, over 100 quests. Sometimes they got lost in the shuffle when you were going to give somebody their dog or their cat. Although I did love the fact that you could only do certain quests, certain events and missions at a certain time of day, whether it was night or day. They didn't do that on Rebirth, so I'm wondering, are they going to incorporate something like that? Which they could, because they do have different seasons and the time does change in the game. I'm also thinking that we didn't get chocobo breeding in this game, so we're probably going to get chocobo breeding in this next game, which I'm going to dub Revelations. We're probably going to get that because the chocobo racing is is Mario Kart with chocobos, and I've heard a few people complain about the the mini games weren't that good. I don't know what y'all was playing, or maybe I was playing something different. But from Queen's Blood to Fort Condor, which I still need to go back and do the hard mode parts of it, to even the little frog mini game, which was kind of fun, even though that some of them are very annoying. From the G-Bike, from, of course, the Chocobo Racing, which makes you feel like it's Mario Kart, but with Chocobos. Those games, Queen's Blood especially, and then the Chocobo Racing. I know we got a snowboarding game, which we haven't got the snowboarding on this one yet because those are events that will probably happen in Revelation. I want to see standalone games. It would be a beautiful thing to see a standalone game of Chocobo Racing with Terra, Tifa, Titus, I don't know why I dropped the triple T's, Cloud, Squall, Noctis, maybe even Luna, Luna Frey, Aerith. Yeah, she rides Chocobo. She got the skirt on, but she turned to the side. That was so ladylike, Aerith. Now that you think of it, it was so ladylike. Yuffie, she pulled a Jessie and literally could have been the star of the damn game. The game was so big, the game was so massive, and had so much to do that I'm going to have to make a review of the game, and I haven't done a review in a minute because there's just so many things I want to talk about more in detail. But as far as for this video, I think the name's gonna be Revelation, y'all. I really think that it's going to be Revelations, or it's going to be something. It shouldn't be Regenesis, because Regenesis and Rebirth is basically like the same thing. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that we do get a chance to see it for PlayStation 5, and we don't have to wait for a new we don't have to do a new system, since Sony says, that their system came out in 2020, but we're already halfway through, which I guess kind of makes sense. So 2028, we probably will have a new PlayStation by then. I really don't want to spend $600 on a new system yet. Y'all, I really don't. Especially when games drop it at $70 a piece. And then with all the fiascos and stuff when it comes to the digital games, because this new system is probably going to be digital. So I would love to continue to maximize as much as I can from this PS5 while I can. I'm hoping 2026, because they already have the world built and everything, but it's a lot of things that I want to see and I'm hoping to see from it. One of the other things that I would love to see is being able to control or have more queued up party roster, since you do eventually get 9 characters. I would love to be able to switch that. And of course, I see why. I know a lot of people complain about that, but as big as the game is, and the time you do get Vincent and Sid, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to fully enjoy their characters and character abilities till then. Plus, we forget, we still gonna get the high win. And for those of y'all who've played it and gotten to that portions of the game, you can see how the game is broke up when it comes to steering the vehicles. Each vehicle feels the same. Man, look, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going crazy on the game because I really had fun and enjoyed it, and I will be going back to play the hard mode of it. But anyway, y'all, I'm trying not to get too long-winded and go on and on and on and on and on. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? What do you think the new name of Final Fantasy Remake Part 3 is going to be? I'm going with Revelations. What do you guys think that is a possibility to be? And what do you want to see in the new one that you haven't already seen in this one? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you did like this video, interweb, do me a favor and hit that like button. I make RPG Geekly content here on the channel all the time, like almost every day. And if you do like the content that you've been seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because, well, I just said I make stuff here, all the time. And as always, in the web, remember to eat, geek, sleep, repeat. I'll holler at you on the next one. Deuces.